gracious Father, Lord above, we come before you this afternoon. We want to thank you, Lord, for the gift of life. We also want to thank you for making it possible for us to come and attend this seminar. We pray that the proceedings of this seminar be led and be guided by you, so that when we leave this seminar, we are better men in the community, better men in the workplaces, and better men in our homes and to our families. In your mighty name we pray. Amen.
Kings chapter 2, verses 1 to 3. Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die, and he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man. Be a real man. And what does that mean? And keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments, and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself. So David tells Solomon, one of the wisest men who ever lived, before he died, that for you to be a real man, you have to do God's bidding. Why are we talking about God's bidding? Because it's God who instituted the family setup. In the book of Genesis, while Adam was happy to be alone, God told him, it's not good for you to be alone. So God made him a helpmate. So the family institution, the home, is of God's making, regardless of your religious persuasion. But it's God who created the family institution. So having created the family institution, God then gives men some responsibilities. And he says in the book of Corinthians 11 verse 3, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ. And the head of the woman is the man. And the head of Christ is God. I know there's always this misconception that the man is the head of the household. That's not what the Bible actually says. We can deduce something out of what the Bible says, but the Bible says you are the head of the woman. That's why she's also head of other things. How the children are going to be dressed, what you are even going to eat, at times even how you dress. Most men, you just wake up, you don't even know what you are going to put on. Clothes are just put on the bed for you, and you dress as the mother decides. Despite you being the head, the mother decides how you are going to dress, how you are going to eat. So she has her own a place in the home. So how do we exercise our leadership in the home? God expects us to be priests in the home, to be providers. Of course, you need to lead in terms of spiritual growth of the whole family, including your wife. Regardless of how religious she is, she needs a man to guide her. You have to be a provider. You was talking about stress here, how it can be difficult at times when provision is a challenge to continue to exercise your leadership when provision has been taken away from you. And of course, you have to protect your family. Make sure everything is in a good state of repair. Don't give your wife the waste of the cars that you have because you say she's a car breaker. No. Make sure you give her something that is workable, that is usable, that is in a good state of repair so that she is not helped by other men along the way. Protect her and make sure she has the best that she can get out of the household. And of course, any other assets in the home, deal with them. And you have to be a lover and a friend to your wife. Love her, show her all the endearments that you can. That's part of your leadership. You are leading your children. Somebody said, when you are a leader in the home, your children, you don't need to sit down with them and tell them, you know, my son, when you grow up, this is how you are going to treat your wife. Because this is the philosophy that works with the children. I can't hear what you are saying, Daddy, because your actions are speaking much louder than your words. Whatever you might try to say, if it's contrary to what you do, they hear what you do. So they know what you do and they see what you do. If it's contrary to what you say, they follow what you do. So you have to lead by example. So if you want your son to treat his future wife nicely, treat your wife nicely. So he knows, oh, okay, so this is how a wife is treated. If you beat up your wife, his mother, in his mind, when I grow up, women, they are so confused, they don't know what they are doing. If you don't beat them up like Dad used to beat up Mom, you cannot get anything out of these people. That's the lesson he gets without you talking to him. So you need to be a good lover and a friend to your wife. And lastly, this is what I want to really just try and focus on. The father as a parent. As you lead in the home, how do you lead as a parent? What does that mean as a father to lead your own home? Of course, we're talking about protection. This is a combination, but then some with. And you have to learn to work. This is a social much. But when you get in, the whole family is under distress. Protect them. You need to do better than that. Right, so generally, the raising up of children is the responsibility of who? The mother. That's why she has the milk, designed by God. Of course, you just lend those two to the child as they grow up so they can suck from them. Others, there are verses to that effect. Let your breast satisfy you all the time. So as you lend them to the children, it's for the mother to also make sure that she carries out her responsibility of caring for the children. It's her primary responsibility. But the Bible talks about the responsibility of the fathers. And you fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nature and admonition of the Lord. Fathers have a part to play in the raising up of their children. And it says specifically, fathers, provoke not your children to wrath. So that means there's a natural tendency for fathers to provoke their children to anger. Because generally we are very patient with children. This is why you hardly find infant teachers in most of these schools. ECG, A, B, grade 1, grade 2. 99% of the teachers, they are women. Because they are very patient. Generally we are not as men. So that's why there is an instruction in the Bible that provoke not your children to what? To anger, but bring them up in the nature and admonition of the Lord. Why? Because children, they want more than just school fees. Most of us, once we pay school fees for those of us who do, there are some who are so careless, they don't even pay school fees for their own children. So after you pay school fees, there is a role for you to play. Daddy has to show interest in my work at school. You have to be interested in what your children are doing at school. Some don't even know what subjects our children are taking, or even what class they are in. I'm going for my grade at 9. What subjects are they doing? What subjects is he struggling with? You are even an engineer, and your child is struggling with maths. Because you don't even know, you don't even care. Fathers, we need to make sure we play our role. We need to be involved in our children's lives and make sure that we are part and parcel of what is happening there. And the disciplining of children, especially boys, needs the father's attention. A friend of mine, his wife was asking me, am I a bad mother? I was asking, why? Because this boy, when I'm alone with the father, when the father is away preaching somewhere or doing, carrying out some other assignments, and I'm with him at church. He is so naughty. But if the father is here, the father calls him, and he goes to the father and he sits down and he's quiet. But when the father is away, this boy is known in this whole church that he is naughty. Why? Am I a bad mother? I said, no, it's natural. Boys just tend to not respect their mothers, naturally. And so if the father does not step in to help out, that boy will be around for the rest of his life. So you need to be involved, because it's very normal for boys to play around. So in the US, somebody remarked that fatherlessness is the most urgent crisis facing our nation. Because there's a growing epidemic of fatherlessness there. The single motherhood is becoming fashionable. Men who are saying, I don't need a man, I can take care of my own children. Divorce rates are high. 50% on average of all marriages end up in divorce. So you end up with a number of fatherless children. And they say especially the black male child is the worst affected. But I just wanted to look at the forms of fatherlessness. Times due to death, divorce, and then one parent may have no access to the children for whatever reason. Some may not be interested, some are running away from their responsibilities, and incarceration, imprisonment, absence due to work commitments. There's somebody who spoke about this story of a son who asked the father, how much do you earn daily? The father told him, he said, well, why are you asking? He said, no, just tell me, how much do you earn? So the son tells the father, eventually, he says, okay, let me just tell the son a figure so he can say whatever he wants. He tells the son, he says, okay, this is what I want to do. I have some few savings that I have. So I want to look for some more money. When I have enough money to pay you for one day, I want to give you money so that you don't go to work and you spend the day playing with me.